Chimeav, he's now fallen out of the. So I believe that fight is the next two. It was supposed to be in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's even further than that. It was supposed to be after UFC 259.
It's meant to be at the end of March, beginning of April.
Yeah. So that it was supposed to be around then, and unfortunately, Khamzat Chimeav has actually got to pull out again.
Why?
So it sounds like
it's not COVID.
It is COVID related.
It's COVID.
He doesn't have COVID. Perhaps there could have been damage to his lungs.
Okay.
Because he also, not only did he have COVID, he also had bronchitis.
Okay.
And it sounds like he's been trying to train, and there's been reports of him actually, he hasn't been able to like finish training and then walk and go to his residence. He's actually fallen asleep in the lobby. He hasn't had the energy to even to go walk off after training. He's been falling asleep, lethargic, incredibly nauseous. He was actually being filmed, and he actually said, "Brother, please don't film me," because he was fucked. I think he's known for having like a good gas tank, and it seems like it's actually really impeded his training. He's not able to train as hard, and apparently he called up his coach, and he said to his coach, "Look, I think like he was expecting the worst." Going back to the hospital, because they've been going back and forth to the hospital multiple times, and he said to his coach, "Look, I feel like I'm going to die." Like he felt. So it sounds like Edwards, he had to pull out the first time. He had COVID. Don't know how the fuck these guys keep on getting COVID, but Edwards gets COVID, loses about 12 pounds, which equals to about 5.5 kilos or something like that, which is pretty big. A pretty massive weight difference. He wasn't able to train, wasn't able to do anything. Then you've got Khamzat. He pulls out of the second bout that was scheduled because of COVID, and then they've rescheduled it later on. The thought that Khamzat and Leon will be able to fight again. Khamzat's had to pull out because unfortunately he's had COVID-related problems with his lungs, and it's really impacting his training. So it's a fucking brutal shame. The interesting thing is Leon Edwards is still going to fight someone. Dana is looking for someone, and it was interesting because there's two schools of thought. And it's what Dana wants to do, and it's what Leon wants to do. Leon right afterwards calls out Nate Diaz. He calls out Nate Diaz and says, "Look, you're always running your fucking mouth. You want to fight people at 170, and you want to fight someone on a win streak. You don't want to fight anyone on a losing streak. I'm on an 8-fight win streak. I'm number 3 in the welterweight division. Come fight me." Brilliant call out, because a lot of people always say he's similar to Kamaru. He doesn't really call anyone out. He's soft spoken. He's a little bit, they say he's boring. I don't think he's boring, but he tends to stick to himself. He just will fight anyone, but he doesn't talk a lot of shit on the mic. The only time we have seen him is when he was talking shit to Darren Till. He wanted to be the best welterweight in the UK, which would have been a good fight if that did occur. The other school of thought is Dana White. Dana White wants him to fight Colby.
That would be good.
Yeah, he wants to fight Colby Covington.
I thought it was Diaz, the one that everyone was pointing at, because Diaz has been taking a lot.
No, Dana's looking towards getting Colby to fight Leon Edwards, and that's a really good fight. That's a really good fight. And it's whether or not Colby has the time in terms of training camp. I think he does. I think he has plenty of time, but it's not often a lot of these fighters, when they're fighting someone after they've just lost a fight, they're not as inclined to then go and take a short notice fight. But if either person wins, that's the next person that I would see fighting Kamaru, although Kamaru also wants to fight Jorge Masvidal, because Masvidal has been, running his mouth, as he says. And any of those fighters, I reckon he'll make a serious amount of money on. Just the most is Masvidal, which is why he probably picked Masvidal. But unfortunately, because Khamzat's out, Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington, or Leon Edwards versus Nate Diaz, that's an insane fight. I'd fucking love to see that. And I think that would be really good for Leon to fight, because he hasn't fought in 2 years. I think last year he was struggling so hard to get a fight. So many cancellations. if he actually gets in there, it'll be incredible because the UK is always going to a fucking lockdown.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, they're still in fucking lockdown right now. It's good. It's bad, man.
If he fights Colby or Masvidal or Nate Diaz, fuck that. That's a good fight.
Yeah, he needs to be active.
He needs to the active. You can't be activeness
because what is it? The UFC took away his ranking, and then he said, "Okay, I'll fight Khamzat Chimeav." Okay, gets his ranking back.
It might be one of those fights we just